Let's keep talking about some of the magic that these guys were dropping in 1993. The mere fact that, again, both groups, respectfully, children, got to put out 3 singles. I'm not mistaken, 3 videos a piece. There was a budget back then. The 90s was amazing. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about the actual 3rd single of that aftermath, that the youngsters, that Wake 'Em Up. Anybody know who made that beat?
Wake 'em up, wake 'em up.
Of course.
Wake 'em up, wake 'em up.
Premiere.
Yeah, get the truck up, it's too late, so stop sleeping. I'm sick of niggas screaming cause they jumping and they leaping to get in my spot cause I'm mad and I'm hot. I love the rock the cradle cause I shoot it with a clock. So hush little baby, don't say a word cause those who sleep I'm gonna kill them cause they hurt. So I'ma rock these punk babies to sleep. They freaks who get street cause they cradle is real weak. I get a chance to break it with a train. I'm insane, I don't cane cause they plain is Mary Jane. I'ma rock your cradle, rock your cradle. Cause those who sleep is one is I, cause this one is fatal. I'ma rock your cradle, rock your cradle. Cause those who sleep is one is I, cause this one is fatal. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's the hand that rocks the cradle. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's the hand that rocks the cradle. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's the hand that rocks the cradle. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's the hand that rocks the cradle.
It's the hand that rocks the cradle. I wouldn't be suggesting anything.
That sounds more like that. It sounds more like a Pete Rock joint instead of Primo.
That's early premiere. That's 90. That's the early premiere.
Very young, early premiere, exactly.
That's early premiere.
Again, let's just talk about this real quick. We've gone through 3 rounds. Wow, DJ Hobo is letting off today. not scared to lay his opinions down. I love it. Let's go ahead and talk about it again. Basing up the next record after that, Wake 'Em Up, had to pick a little something that shared a similar vibe off the Untold Truth album. Let's go ahead and put up a gem against another gem. Let's put up On the Mic, produced by Lord Finesse, featuring Lord Finesse and AG, Digging in the Crates.
Check it out, y'all. 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 To set it off, I got the proper ammunition, the skills of a veteran, versatility and great determination. To rip any MC who tests their ill lynches, juvenile, kicking style, outcast town now. I'm sending a message to all your little MCs out there. I'm about to cause you all many fights and nightmares. Anybody's dissing, we see it. We taking it to you lyrically, physically. So don't underestimate it. I leave you going for the kill, there's no mercy. And the effect will leave you lying in emergency. You heard me? If you ain't true to your hip hop, we hit you with a bang bang and then we boogie when your body drop. Give me my box, you got my box, you got my props. You don't wanna see your shorty go reach for his Glock. And I ain't talking about that Glock that pop. I'm talking about the ill lyrics that I'm throwing off the top. Like 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. What am I saying? 2, 2, 2, 3. What am I saying? 2, 2, 2, 3. What am I saying? 2, 2, 2, 3.
I would love to let some of that verse go right there. Digging in the Crates representation on this album is definitely fierce. Again, we decided to go with 2 album filler tracks on this one. I mentioned there was singles, my bad. On this one, actually, is the album fillers track right now. The album fills round right now. So Wake 'Em Up going up against On the MIC. Let's talk about some of that right there. Let's talk about some of the production on these 2 songs, as well as overall. This Wake 'Em Up track right here, basically produced by DJ Premier. Again, we talked about young DJ Premier. Then we got On the MIC with Lord Finesse on the beat right here, with featuring AG and his appearance as well. That's not the only obvious appearance of Digging on the Crates on this Illegal album. Let's talk about Diamond D stepping up. 2 tracks, if I'm not mistaken, that Illegal Rock and CRUMBSNATCHER. Then you got Lord Finesse tracks. That's already 3, plus the feature with AG. There's a lot of Digging in the Crates representation just right there. This is Illegal. These kids are like 14 years old. You also got some Eric Sermon production. We just heard 2 of them. You got Dallas Austin himself, the guy who signed them, who's a legend in the game, respectfully, doing about 2 tracks as well. You got Spearhead X, who I couldn't remember earlier on where I heard his name from, but he actually did a bunch of production for a lot of different people, including De La Soul and a bunch of people from the A. like remixes and stuff like that. Then you got Biz Markie, the legend, rest in peace, doing a track on there as well. That's insane for a kid group. Like that is, that's a dream lineup for even some adult rap groups. You know what I'm saying?
For adults.
For adults, even in '93. Not to be sort of undersold, like I said, especially in '93. That's a legit lineup. I'm not even saying like that to be funny. It's a legit lineup. And like I said, respectfully, not to be undone, the untold truth with the youngsters. This is not their first approach to the game. This is their second approach to the game. Right. They stepped up this time with, again, a personal favorite of mine, the Beatnuts with 3 tracks on the album. Pete Rock with 2 tracks on the album, with an appearance with him and his brother, CL Smooth. You got Naughty by Nature, production and appearance once, production twice on the album. Then you got MARL twice on the album. MARL. Okay, this is insane. Okay, then you got DJ Premier, who we just talked about. And respectfully, it looks like some of the group members themselves, like Karan, the member of the group, Cue Ball, right? AKA, he actually did some production as well as some of the other guys in the group. It looks like everybody got a little bit of production on the album as well. Interesting. Crazy. So that leads us, like I said, to these tracks right here, where respectfully we talking about Wake 'Em Up versus On the Mic. What are you guys thinking? Chat room, what are you thinking? Let me know, what do you got going on? Who wants to step up first? Who do you got? We're talking DJ Premier versus Lord Finesse, kind of respectfully. Who's going first?
I'll go.
Go.
So first of all, your man said, I rock your cradle, rock your cradle way too many times. So that's a strike against. And the On the Mic is a doper beat to me. I mean, yeah, dope. That's definitely doper beat for me. I mean, that, like I said, that Premiere joint was early Premiere. It was all right. It was okay. Wasn't great.
We will remember this on the next Gangstar related episode. You will see.
No, we're not talking about Primo and Gangstar production. We're talking about Primo and the Youngsters production. And pretty sure that, again, my previous statement of he might have played this beat for Guru and like, he might have played this beat for MOP. And they definitely was like, nah. So he had it in the stash, in the tuck, and was like, let me give it to the youngsters over here. They're not going to say no.
Give it to the youngsters.
It's me. They're not going to say no to me. It's Primo. They're not going to be like, no, you don't want that beat. So they just took it.
Got it. Fair enough. Again, DJ Ho would never scared to lay his vote down. Actually, the first in the room. We're talking Wake 'Em Up versus On the Mic. Who do you got? Who's stepping up next?
I got the youngsters in this one, yo.
You do have the youngsters. What is it about this one?
Because I'm sure Finesse gave that beat to somebody else first, and they got it second, yo. And from Past the Mic to when they put the CREWZ Pop out, they was all Carhartt. Them niggas was Inglorious Bastards at that time, and compared to what they were before. Right. And it was just a total switch. The Carhartt vest and that, like Carhartt is the real winner of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like they the real winners, but just the fact that I heard that beat on another DITC remix, I'm going with the youngsters.
Their whole, I think what Rev was talking about, their entire image became Carhartt, ball heads, as someone mentioned earlier, like the Onyx kind of look, the little baseball bats.
Stretch had this sword that was like some Mortal Kombat shit in the video. And
he definitely inspired their look, I would agree. This is also the thermal degree mask time when you would just have the thermal mask. It was a very rough time.
I'm a Rob face.
It was our Pooh Shiesty mask, respectfully. That was all right.
I would just go with Shiesty. Leave the Pooh out.
I had one of those in college.
We all had them. We saw actually, by the time it was in Juice, we already had them, but we saw in Juice, it was more like official, like, oh,
hey, look, man, I'm from Buffalo. I wore that shit to keep warm, not to look. So did
we. All of us grew up in the cold, so did we. Like
Buffalo cold is different.
Respectfully.
Shout out DJ Mytar in the room, DJ Mr. September 71 in the room. Everybody that joins us in the chat room every second week, thank you so much for joining us. But again, we got one vote in for Wake 'Em Up by the Rev, one vote for On the Mic by Hobo. Who do you got? Who's next?
I'm gonna put my vote in for Illegal. Nope. I think this, especially this song, once again, just shows how they flow better over beats, man. I just think that how they lyrically perform their songs is a whole lot better than the youngsters, man.
They got better rhymes than the youngsters.
And listen, man.
Better rhymes than the youngsters.
Yeah, listen, man. Yeah, they was what, 14, 13, 12 out here, man? Why are we beating them up that they was getting hand down beats? These motherfuckers had hand down shirts and shit like that. And we talk about, we trying to beat them down because they, yo, man, they little ass kids, man.
You know what? To bring up something
like ex-cons.
They did. They did very adult.
Facts, good rap. They didn't look like little kids. They was trying to be little thugs.
Yeah.
Dressing them like that.
It was the 90s though, bro. You know what I mean?
It was
It was the 90s.
Everybody dressed like that. That's true.
And Onyx was creeping. So
yeah.
Listen, again, an interesting time to be alive to watch these young kids get, again, very adult beats, whether secondhand or not. You read that track list and you take them serious. And again, the music we listened to tonight has definitely been a dope throwback. These guys definitely knew how to attack those beats themselves. We got 2 votes in for On the Mic, 1 vote in for Wake 'Em Up. Anybody want to step up for a particular side? Who do you got?
Yeah, I got illegal. I got that. I agree with what Hobo said about the Primo beat. It's like, oh man, that's not it.
That's not it.
Fair enough. We got 3 votes in, 1 vote on the other side. Again, make sure the vote counts.
I'll go with illegal on this one, but my feeling though is that actually to me, I don't really like either track like that personally. I could actually live without both of these tracks, to be honest. But to give credit, it is early Premier, right? So this is 92 Premier. So 92 Premier was doing loops. He's not the Premier that we know today. True. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think, and then if you even compare it, I think, to be truthful, Lord Finesse may be the one during that 92 era that really got the sound kind of locked down a little bit more, in my opinion. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for that, I'll give the edge to illegal for this one.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like that's a good point. Lord Finesse definitely was in his bag, like early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. He was in his bag.
Yeah.
He definitely was. And that's an actual good point to bring up if you want to, again, stand on that hill, which is a totally fine place to stay. Cool Breeze, you're last to step up at this point. Wake 'Em Up versus On the Mic. What you got?
I'm going to piggyback off of what Scan said. I mean, both songs are okay, but I think this one would go more for illegal on this one. I wasn't too amped up about both tracks. They were cool, but it's like, but the edge would go to illegal.
Oh, snap. Fair enough. Putting the vote down for illegal. It looks like it wasn't a completely one-sided event. The good Rev actually stood up for the opposite team at this point, putting the Wake 'Em Up on this particular vote. But the majority of the room, when we're doing round number 3 and we asked the question, Wake 'Em Up versus On the Mic, ended up voting for On the Mic. On the Mic, getting that vote for illegal. Moving on to round number 4. About to get good. What is the chat room saying? What they have going on?
Shout out to Malcontent. He said he reminded us that Daily Operation came out in 92, which is a good point.
Yeah.
But that also proves my point of throwaway Premier beat.
Yeah, I just responded too, just basically saying that if you know Gangstar too, you know that he's gonna approach it from a concept where the youngsters is probably, it could be a throwaway beat, it could just be something real quick. Maybe who knows how much the fee was, you know what I mean? All those little things.
True. Back to Jules's point about the production lineup. Like, yo, that either these dudes was giving away beats for the low, or these kids, these record labels shelled out some money to these producers for these beats, man.
And they kept the money.
No, well, here's the thing. You got to take into consideration that the first album, if I'm not mistaken, was actually put out on the same label that the second one came out. So I'm sure there was a small rap budget on the first one, which is the 92 release. This one came out in East West, which is basically under the Elektra, Warner Brothers.
Yes.
So there was money at the time. They were trying to invest into, and then you have to think about it at the same time too. When you do the kid thing, like they saw success in things like Aisha, the people they were dissing, Criss Cross, and all. It's like, well, we have a version of that, and it's like there's going to be a label somewhere that's going to take a chance on something that slightly different. In this case, it was little kids acting very grown up. Like I said, they looked like Onyx, they were dressing like Naughty, like but a budget comes with that, and they probably the writer, you can hear Tretch's pen all over CREWZ Pop. So he gets it's like, why wouldn't I want to mess with it? It's like trying to write for Bow Wow. It's like, this is gonna work. Like, let me get in on it. You know what I'm saying? So every producer, even if it was a throwaway beat, is kind of like, well, this might be not a bad look. Like it could move. And I don't think at that time,
right,
was beefing with the family too.
I'm sure.
Right. And Jules, real quick to add on to your point too, you know, and I think we discussed this on previous episodes where, remember, labels at the time too, there was no right or wrong way to the structure that we know of today in doing hip hop music. So one guy could have had a $1 million budget, one guy could have had a $10,000 budget. You're gonna give this producer this amount. It wasn't regulated. So so stuff was all over the place back then. So I mean,
that's
low
not
key in Pete Rock's heyday, and as a producer, one of the reasons, just to kind of touch on it, producers were getting 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80K a beat back then.
Yep.
You don't get those numbers anymore in the modern day hip hop. You don't get those numbers anymore.
That's true. Again, there was money back then. There was a lot of money back then.
There was a lot of money back then.
We thrown around producers were getting remix jobs. I mean, just to bring up another point, we're talking about Diamond D's involvement on the Illegal album.
Yeah.
Diamond D did a remix for Is You With Me for the Youngsters, and it's a Diamond D remix, if I'm not mistaken. That's out there. So again, there was work. And again, you could find a lot of dope finesse remixes, premiere remixes all around this time because of the budget that labels had in terms of believing in the sales of 12 inches and singles, commercial singles and all that. There was an actual life back then for songs by themselves, unlike today where it's a whole different era, a whole different game. Again, so
both groups sold a lot of chocolate bars to get beats.
He said they was on the corner.
They were supporting the basketball team.
Please buy my chocolate bar. Please buy my chocolate bar.
I immediately wanted to give Triple C $1 if I was sitting on the train. Like, hey,
give me the one with the almonds in it. Thank you.
It's from my school
That's
trip.
That's funny, Trip.
That was funny.
Wrapping up round number 3 again. Lyrical abilities stretched across both parts of the board here. Wake 'Em Up, an album track produced by a premiere for the Youngsters on the Aftermath, with On the Mic coming off that Illegal, the Untold Truth, produced by Lord Finesse. 2 classic producers, 2 classic songs, 2 classic albums, but it looks like only one winner. On the Mic is the winner of round number 3, and that will wrap up that one right there, putting Illegal on the scoreboard once again, 2-1.